Mr. Jordan, I hope you're feeling up to it. I hope you're feeling ready, because the man opposite has arrived in the scene again, and it's the chairman of Matchroom Sport, and he's Eddie Hearn. Eddie, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning. And, just heard Simon's news there, listening to the radio, and wish a speedy recovery, genuinely. And,
Thank you, mate.
And well done.
Mr.
Yeah,
Hearn.
absolutely. No, well done for that. Actually, funnily enough, I won't go on too much about it, but my old man is a massive advocate. He will get himself tested for everything.
Really?
Everything. He's one of them. Go and do this. Go and get your heart done. Go and get your liver done. Go and get, and it's right. If you have the opportunity to, can save your life. So best wishes, mate, and speedy recovery.
Mate.
Good. Okay. Now. Here we go. No, Eddie, good words, and many people are agreeing with you with that, with Simon. Eddie, Robert Hellenius will fight Anthony Joshua on Saturday night here in London. How did you arrive at him?
Firstly, obviously, received the news. I was on the East Coast time. The official news coming, the first we heard about it was around 1 o'clock in the morning, Saturday morning. And got the news that Dillian White had adverse finding in his VADA test. Couldn't believe it. I mean, it was like deja vu all over again and total shock. And then from there, you have to go to work. The first thing you have to do, and we didn't get an opportunity to do it till the morning, was to speak to Anthony Joshua. I wasn't sure whether he'd want to fight. What I got was someone that was desperate to fight. And not just saying it, but this has been one of the best camps he's had in his career. He's been working so well with Derek James. His sparring's been fantastic. And he just said to me, who can I fight? And from there, you go out and you go into the Wild West of who wants it, who doesn't want it, who's trying to get some exposure, who's trying to make a fortune. And, we wanted someone who could prepare him for Deontay Wilder. We wanted someone who was credible. We wanted someone that would come to fight. We wanted someone that we could do a deal with at pace. And that's important when you've got 6 days to go till a fight. And we got to Robert Hellenius, who, we know has had some big wins in America. Got chinned by Wilder, but came to fight, and that's why he got chinned. And I don't think it's a disgrace to get knocked out like that. But most importantly, was in shape, boxed on Saturday, got a stoppage victory. He had 2 good wins on Fox in America. I think one was on pay-per-view as well. He's a decent fighter. Beat Derek Chisora, lost to Dillian White on points. He's a credible guy. 6'9", can punch a bit as well. And I think it's a good test for AJ to see where he's at after the Franklin bout.
Is he as good as you could get? Is that what you're saying?
I think within the time frame, within the deals that were available, and you sometimes you get told Andy Ruiz wanted it. And
did he come in at the conversation?
No, he put a tweet out on social media, never contacted us. Or the teams or the management team. But also you're talking about a guy who wants probably, 10 million, whatever it is, to fight AJ. He's not going to get on a plane on Monday or Tuesday and go through that process. We also understand the whole pay-per-view argument. We have done, and we are taking the fight off pay-per-view. The financial difference for Joshua in this fight is astounding. But he wants to fight. And, in terms of non-pay-per-view cards, I think this is probably one of the strongest we've ever done. Okay. Chisora against Washington, Hrgovic against Dempsey McKean, Johnny Fisher in his first title fight. No one can moan about that. But we're in a situation where, unfortunately, we have to deal with it. We all wanted to see the Dillian White fight. But at the same time, Anthony Joshua says, I've trained for 12 weeks. I want to fight Deontay Wilder next, and I want to fight on Saturday.
Well, Eddie, to be fair, Simon, you actually were expecting some sympathy, if you like, for Eddie and the predicament he found himself in.
I was expressing some sympathy.
Yeah,
because it's not easy, is it? I mean, Eddie tells us that the results, the information that he got was on the Saturday. I'll be curious to know when the tests were actually taken, and if that is indeed the fact, then those are the facts, and it puts him in a cleft position, doesn't it? I mean, there's other people out there like Martin Bacoli that you could have spoken to and perhaps had a conversation with about whoever he puts in this situation. Someone, somewhere, some segment of people are going to turn around and say, that's not good enough. The challenge is what do you do? Is Hellenius someone that I would expect Anthony Joshua to deal with? Yes, I would. Is the challenge putting him into a fight of someone that he hasn't prepared for? We are watching the rebuilding of Anthony Joshua. Irrespective of whether I think certain things about Anthony Joshua, he does need an element of rehabilitation to get him to a point where he can go into the top table with the top guys, whether that's Deontay Wilder, whether it's Tyson Fury, Anthony, or whether it's Alexander Usyk again at some point. And it's not unreasonable for him to have had this fight with Dillian White. It's a proper good fight, that one. I think most people saw it in its merits and how it got, and I didn't like the idea of ridiculous things like rematch clauses in there, but we got there in the end. But I think it's unfair. And I'm quite happy to have a go at him, but I think it's unfair to turn around to him now and say, well, whatever you put, I didn't like the idea it was Chisora. I don't think Hellenius. I think Hellenius is at the back end of his career and it's cannon fodder. But notwithstanding that, he could have perhaps delayed the fight, could have pushed it back a couple of weeks. That might be an argument that people could have made.
It's difficult to do that when you've trained for 12 weeks to break camp, and then the other option, honestly, was to fight in October, November. When you've trained for 12 weeks, then after that, come down, you have 3 or 4 weeks off, then you go back and you do another 8 or 9 weeks. We want to fight Deontay Wilder. We know December's unlikely, but we're still being told, and we were told as recently as 2 days ago or 3 days ago, whenever it was, you will be fighting. And he wants, and if he doesn't take this fight on Saturday, he won't fight Wilder in December or January, because he'll end up fighting October or November.
What about fight fans already? And many listening this morning, say I've got my heart set on, I bought a ticket, I want to go and see Joshua White. So it's not happening. And I don't fancy Joshua Hellenius. What happens?
Well, I think you haven't done your research, Jim. You get a refund.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's as simple
absolutely.
as that.
I mean, look, absolutely. I would, we
So
do
you
this every
expect a
time.
lot of people coming to you for a refund?
I think it's a great heavyweight night. I think if you don't feel like you're getting value, you can get a refund. It's very simple. We have a very standard procedure, and we're fair to all customers. I think it's a great heavyweight night. I think it's a good heavyweight fight. I think it's a great undercard, but we also understand it's not what you bought a ticket for. So if you want a refund and you don't want a great heavyweight night on Saturday, you can get one. So and also at the same time, it's not on pay-per-view. It's part of your DAZN subscription. I think there's a lot of people, that we know the pay-per-view argument, but it's designed to generate the revenue to make bigger fights. That's unfortunately the way the system works. It's not. But, we can't be fairer than that. Ultimately, it's something that happened that was out of my control, out of AJ's control, and we have to deal with the circumstances. And I think in the circumstances, we've acted swiftly. Don't forget as well, there's more than 10, there's 16 other fighters on the card who have trained for 12 weeks. Fighters only get paid when they fight. You've got fighters like, even the younger lot who aren't even on the main broadcast. You've got George Liddard, you've got Campbell Hatton, you've got Maisie Rose. These guys have trained for 12 weeks. They only get paid if they fight. They're the ones that are contacting me faster than anybody on Monday saying, please keep the fight on.
People are making noises about Hrgovic fighting him. First of all, he's not prepared for Hrgovic, and Hrgovic is the mandatory IBF. Right? He's going to beat Dempsey McKean, so he's not going to go in against Anthony Joshua and give up the opportunity to be the next cab off the rank against Alexander Usyk.
And also, he's had a 12-week camp for a southpaw. So it's not as easy.
You've got to be fair.
Yeah, and I think there'll always be Twitter moans, but I think in general, most people go, fair enough, good night, let's get on with it, and let's see AJ put what I believe, and I'm not just saying this, I think he's in the best I've seen him physically, mentally. And that's why I was so disappointed, because I think either way you're going to get a great performance, but he must box on Saturday.
The thing is, Eddie, this is deja vu all over again, as you rightly said. You didn't pull Ben Eubank straight away, and you faced criticism for that when Ben failed a couple of tests. But you pulled this one straight away. Mm-hmm. So what's the difference?
Well, I think there's quite a few differences. I mean, firstly, the tests, the results, the substances were very different. Secondly, the conversations between the teams were different. Don't forget, that was a co-promotion, the Ben Eubank fight. This was a pure Matchroom promotion. When we spoke to Wasserman and the team, they wanted to investigate the situation further. There was a lot of cloud over the fact that the board don't recognise VADA because they've done it previously. And Eubank's team said, after taking medical advice, they were willing to proceed with the bout, subject to what the British Boxing Board of Control have to say. In this instance, AJ and his team looked at the results, wanted to terminate the contract immediately. We had 1 week to go. And I will say, hands up, we learnt a lot last time. It was a fresh situation that we had to deal with in terms of sanctioning and also who governs what in terms of testing agencies.
But to be fair, Eddie, I understand your position, but that's not strictly true, because the rule was in place and you knew it was in place. And you argued with me last time emphatically, and where I will concede, your point that you made last time is about your inability to stop this fight, because you and I debated the fight with Conor Benn, and I said you could have stopped it. And you said I couldn't have stopped it. I needed the British Boxing Board of Control to stop it. I needed their sanctioning or non-sanctioning to put me in that position. And then, of course, that I argued about the fact you have a representation agreement. You said you don't. So I need the bout agreement to be stopped, right? But you took 48 hours to do it. And you've got your partner in the fight, your fight partner in Callie Sowland, on the day after the fact that you guys have been announced. You were told on the Tuesday evening, according to Robert Smith, October the 4th, this fight is going to be pulled by us. We're not going to sanction it.
Wednesday morning.
No, he told. Well, then he's a liar. Then
well, absolutely.
Right?
If he's told you that, then he is.
But
lying,
he's told me that, and that's indelible.
Then he's lying.
Right. So he's saying on October the 4th, he told you guys. So then between then, or the 48 hours or the 36 hours, your fight partner told everybody in the world that you and he and all the parties were looking at other options. You didn't say it. He said it. Right. But that's not. So he's either not talking correctly about what you didn't do, but it was a 36-hour gap. In this instance, your boy, Frank Smith, had a conversation with Robert Smith on Friday, and they pulled the fight instantaneously.
Friday what, sorry?
This Friday just gone.
No, he didn't.
Well, according to Robert Smith, he did. So you had a conversation.
Hold on.
No,
let's clear up a few things, because you're waffling some...
No, I'm not waffling.
No, you are. Because you're talking like it's fact. You have to listen to what I say.
But I'm telling you the facts that I've been
told. So you're telling me...
your version
okay, you're telling me, I mean, you can clear this up after.
Yeah.
Robert Smith told you that he had a conversation with Frank Smith
to cancel
on
the fight.
Friday.
Yep.
Just gone.
Correct.
Okay. The first knowledge that we had of this situation was on Saturday in the early hours of the morning.
Take that
so Robert Smith
take it up with the British Boxing Board
a
of Control.
Complete liar.
Yeah.
If
these are the things, Eddie, that I think that you need to be careful of.
No, but I think you need to be careful, because you come
I
out
don't.
with what
No, I
you
don't.
state as facts. What actually aren't.
Eddie, it's very simple, right?
No, but you walk around. I spoke to him.
It's very simple, Eddie.
You're a journalist.
I'm not a journalist.
Yes, you are. You're a disc jockey.
No,
you
spoke. You said it, Eddie.
No, but you are.
Eddie,
you can't wander around the industry going, I was speaking to the chairman of the British Boxing Board of Control.
And you're your dad's son, whose business you've inherited, right? So we can all throw around silly comments, right?
Let's wait. I want to address that. I want to address that. 1 second. No, I want to address that 1 second. No, I haven't finished.
I hadn't finished.
Because now you're talking about my father, you're talking about what I've inherited, and I'll say one thing now. You've got this bee in your bonnet. I don't know what it is.
I don't.
You brought it up on Twitter the other day.
I don't.
You just brought it up again now.
Because
you
I think
inherited your daddy's business.
Because
now let's get one thing right. You have done very well.
Yes.
And so have I.
Yeah.
This is what you did. You took a company, start-up, to
different
what
to you.
you say. Yeah, totally different.
To you.
We all play the hands we're dealt.
We do indeed.
You took a start-up company.
We do indeed.
To what you say was £100 million company, lost a lot. Don't worry.
No, you don't. You don't know that, Eddie. Don't redirect into silly conversations.
Hold on, because I'm giving each other a pat on the back.
Hang on, we're talking about the consequences of a situation that's manifested itself. You took, whether it was 48 hours, you took 36.
I'm going back.
You took
to the
30. You took 36 hours. Eddie, you're the one that makes.
Well, let's get back on track. Let's get back on track, though.
I want to finish it.
I think people listening want to know what happened regards to the fight.
Okay.
Irrespective of what you two, how you two have got to where you got to, or wherever.
Okay. All I was doing was.
Here's the thing. You were correcting my view.
No.
Here's the thing.
I
want to ask you this.
It wasn't a view.
I want to ask you this.
You were stating it as fact.
Well, I think it is.
But Simon,
because I think you're
okay.
And people won't say it to you.
Get Robert Smith on the phone. Go on.
Oh, fine.
Get
him on the phone. Happy to.
Get him on.
Well, we can get Robert Smith on the phone.
But I don't need to.
Because I don't see how the chairman...
I don't need to.
You don't need to.
No, hang on. I can play the audio from the interview that he did.
When?
So I don't need the audio. He did an interview with me in March of this year. It's a fact.
You're talking about the Dillian White situation.
And in this conversation...
You're telling you spoke to him this week. He apparently had a conversation with us before we even knew about it.
Did it take you 36 hours? I say 48 hours to cancel the BeIN Eubank fight. Did it take you 36 hours or 48 hours? Because it definitely took
less than 24.
It definitely took you 36.
No, from their decision.
But you didn't cancel it until Thursday evening.
No, we didn't. We had a press conference on Thursday afternoon,
right,
where it was already cancelled. It was announced.
So
get your facts.
So maybe 32 hours.
Get your facts.
Maybe 32 hours.
The fact of the matter is, Eddie, what we will do is take it.
And you know you are.
No,
you're lying, Eddie. You're lying, Eddie. You just misrepresent Eddie.
Simon. Stay calm. Stay calm. You're going red again. Listen.
I'm not going red.
You are. The blood pressure's out of control. You've got to calm yourself.
In this instance,
listen.
In this instance, you cancelled it promptly. So well done you.
Thank you.
Well done you. But you know what? Here's the thing you couldn't do. Not even you, in your most brazen snake-oil salesman guise, could get away with delaying this particular one.
No, we didn't.
Yes, you did. Callie Sowland, who's your business partner.
Hang on.
But it's a fact, Eddie.
But it all started so well as well, didn't it? It all started so well.
Spoke on your behalf, saying that all parties sat around considering all options.
Correct.
So that means
that was
considering all options. So when the British Boxing Board of Control, who have the authority, which you said they didn't have in the last interview that we discussed, and they subsequently found out they did. And as a blue chip promoter, I would have thought that you knew it. I did know it, but you didn't. But by the way, if you don't know 10 times as much as me, what the hell have you been doing all your life? Because you bloody well should do. But the point is, you sat and
you
listened. You
know nothing.
And the reality is, by the nature of what suits you.
We found out
but it's
Wednesday
not true, Eddie.
morning.
It's not true, Eddie, is it?
Yes, it is true.
And you didn't stop the fight until 36 hours later.
The listeners will hate me for this, but I've got to jump in, guys. I've got to jump in at this stage. Whose face is redder than whose is, irrespective of that. We're back after this.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.